zovi mamu, pički.
I don't understand, you can't put your mamu nazovite, huh?
Mater, zovi mamicu.
I just, no, please, no, don't do that. No, please, I'm begging you. Please, just...
What call your mommy?
Leave me.
Really call your mommy, huh?
That's all.
You're begging.
Hey guys, your tickets. Hey, you. Guys, you did not pay your tickets. It's $150 per person.
Fuck up and drive. Didn't I tell you to sit down and drive the fucking bus?
$150 per person, please.
Gentlemen, everyone on this bus has somewhere they have to be, and for some of us it's urgent, so please resolve your issues and go drive the bus.
I will not continue driving the bus without everyone having tickets on it.
Fine. Keep the change.
Thank you very much.
Pay attention, let me explain this to you. If you get onto a bus and you don't pay your ticket, don't pay, eventually the cost of everything will go up. But think about it. You're gonna look back at this moment and realize that it is the luckiest you have ever been. Believe me. What do you want to happen to them?
To go to jail. For the rest of their lives.
And they might. Of course, we won't know till the end of the trial. Do you want justice?
Yes.
The film begins in a bustling supermarket in Zagreb, a city in southeastern Europe, where a young mother and her son are engaged in the simple act of grocery shopping. Their ordinary day takes a harrowing turn as they prepare to leave the store. The mother collapses on the street, bleeding profusely, while her son stands helplessly by her side. Tragically, she dies at the scene, leaving the child in a state of shock and despair. In the aftermath of this horrific event, news reports flood the airwaves, revealing that the suspect is believed to be an undocumented migrant. The chilling nature of the crime sends shockwaves through the city, instilling fear in parents who now hesitate to let their children play outside. Women, too, find themselves gripped by anxiety, reluctant to walk alone after dark. As confidence in government officials and law enforcement wanes, hope begins to shift toward an enigmatic figure known only as the vigilante citizen. This mysterious man has taken it upon himself to deliver his own brand of justice, targeting violent criminals and powerful individuals whom many believe have allowed crime to flourish unchecked. To some, he is merely a dangerous killer, but to others, he represents the only force willing to act where authorities have failed. Online support for him swells rapidly. Many praise his efforts to confront violent offenders. With each new attack linked to his name, news spreads across the internet within hours. Just last week, the leader of a notorious Middle Eastern crime syndicate and several of his associates were discovered dead in a dumpster. Meanwhile, an American named Michael Sanders is meeting with his business manager, Owen. During their discussion, it becomes clear that Michael is an active U.S. Army officer who has come to Europe on vacation after inheriting his estranged father's real estate business. Following his father's death from cancer, Michael has found himself in control of 3,500 rental units throughout the city, generating approximately €50 million annually. Eager to evict tenants who have stopped paying rent, Michael learns from Owen that the process is painstakingly slow. Tenants must first be 3 months behind before receiving a final notice that grants them an additional 4 weeks to settle their debts. If they still refuse to pay, Michael must obtain a court order, a process that can take another 7 months. Essentially, this means that non-paying tenants can occupy their units for months without contributing financially, costing Michael around €5 million each month. As if this were not enough, tax authorities have begun scrutinizing the ownership structure of Michael's holding companies. Compounding his troubles is the government's intention to seize some of his vacant properties to house migrants. However, Michael stands firm, insisting that he will not relinquish his properties unless the government agrees to rent them at full market value. Owen leaned forward, concern etched on his face as he warned Michael about the potential consequences of the government uncovering the true ownership of his properties. If they find out, he cautioned, They could seize the units without compensating you at all. He urged Michael to consider cooperating with the authorities, suggesting that doing so might lead to a path toward citizenship without too many questions being asked. However, Michael remained resolute in his stance, firmly stating that he was in Europe solely for an extended vacation. Later, in the solitude of his apartment hideout, Michael engaged in a rigorous workout, his focus sharp and intense. Nearby, a table was strewn with an array of guns and boxes of ammunition, hinting at a darker side to his persona. It was then revealed that Michael was, in fact, the elusive vigilante citizen. He set up his camera and recorded a message, his face obscured and voice distorted to protect his identity. In the video, he proclaimed that every action he took was for the people, asserting that since no one else was willing to act against injustice, he would step in to fill that void. The rise in violence associated with the vigilante citizen did not go unnoticed. Interpol's regional chief, Henry, took charge of the operation to apprehend him. He released an official statement emphasizing that despite the public's growing support for the vigilante, law enforcement remained steadfast in their determination to bring him to justice. Meanwhile, Michael boarded a city bus, where he witnessed a group of thugs refusing to pay their fares.
Hey guys, your tickets. Hey.
You.
Guys, you did not pay your tickets. It's $150 per person.
Fuck up and drive. Didn't I tell you to sit down and drive the fucking bus?
$150 per person, please.
Gentlemen, everyone on this bus has somewhere they have to be, and for some of us it's urgent, so please resolve your issues and go drive the bus.
I will not continue driving the bus without everyone having tickets on it.
Fine. Keep the change.
Thank you very much.
Pay attention, let me explain this to you. If you get onto a bus and you don't pay your ticket, don't pay, eventually the cost of everything will go up. But think about it. You're gonna look back at this moment and realize that it is the luckiest you have ever been. Believe me.
After making his point clear, he returned to his seat as if nothing had happened, blending back into the mundane atmosphere of the bus. Later that day, Michael visited a hospital where he met Elsa, a young woman who had been brutally assaulted and had just awakened from a 3-week coma. As she regained consciousness, Michael gently inquired about her feelings regarding the men who had attacked her.
Listen, I can't even imagine everything you've been through.
Who are you?
I'm just here to help. What do you want?
What do you mean?
What do you want to happen to them?
To go to jail for the rest of their lives.
And they might. Of course, we won't know till the end of the trial.
Elsa expressed her desire for them to spend the rest of their lives behind bars. However, Michael took a moment to explain the harsh realities of seeking justice through the legal system. He outlined how such cases could drag on for years, forcing her to relive her trauma repeatedly in front of strangers. He warned her that lawyers would scrutinize every detail of her story, attempting to discredit her and label her a liar. Even after enduring this grueling process, there was no guarantee that her attackers would face punishment. And while the legal proceedings unfolded, those same men could pose a threat to others. Then Michael offered her an alternative: she could support his intervention instead.
Do you want justice?
Yes.
After a moment of contemplation, Elsa quietly chose to stand by him. Back at his apartment, Michael recorded another video. This time, his message was more pointed. He asserted that the government existed solely to control its citizens. He claimed that the state, the courts, and law enforcement had failed the public and were never truly designed to deliver justice. Later still, Michael found himself at the door of a distraught father whose 14-year-old daughter had been sexually assaulted by 6 migrant attackers. When he posed a simple yet loaded question, whether his daughter was satisfied with the court's decision, the father hesitated and refused to answer a stranger. But from inside the house, a voice broke through. It was the daughter herself.
There was no justice.
Declaring resolutely that there had been no justice at all.
Good afternoon.
He departed the scene without looking back. Meanwhile, Chief Henry made his way to the hospital where Elsa was recovering. Introducing himself as an Interpol officer, he assured her that they would exhaust every available resource to track down the men who had assaulted her. However, Elsa mistook him for the man who had visited her earlier. She assumed Henry was connected to Michael and remarked on how friendly the other man had been, recalling that he had asked her if she wanted justice. Realizing that the vigilante citizen had already been there, Henry's interest piqued. He inquired about the man's appearance, but Elsa, now aware of Michael's true identity, chose to mislead Henry.
Middle Eastern looking.
Instead of providing an accurate description, she deliberately offered details that bore no resemblance to Michael. Later, while strolling through a park, Michael spotted the same thugs from the bus harassing a young man.
Razovi mamicu.
I don't understand. You can't put your mom on the
Razovi mamicu.
I just, no, please, no, don't do that. No, please, just.
Call your mommy.
Need my.
Really call your mommy, huh?
That's all, that's all.
I'm begging.
He approached the victim and urged him to call his mother and file charges. As the young man hurried away, Michael turned his attention to the bullies.
You remember when I told you on the bus that it was your lucky day?
Crushing their hands in a swift display of retribution. He warned them never to act in such a manner again.
If I ever see you put your hands on anyone else ever again, I will visit you, and you will not be walking away from it. You understand?
In a more sinister turn of events, Michael later disguised himself as a police officer and kidnapped Judge Reinhold by injecting him with a potent dose of heroin. As he drove away with the unconscious judge, it became clear that Reinhold was the same judge who had released the 6 attackers involved in the assault on the 14-year-old girl. Michael condemned him for allowing violent criminals to roam free and played a recording of an interview Reinhold had given outside the courthouse. In it, the judge defended the attackers, claiming they were simply struggling to adjust to society and were victims of their own trauma. Michael's disgust was palpable. Such excuses only fueled his rage. On the outskirts of the city, he poured alcohol over the unconscious judge and slashed his wrist, staging the scene to resemble a suicide. Leaving Reinhold there to bleed out, Michael disappeared into the night. That evening, Chief Henry found himself at a local pub, nursing a drink when a waitress recognized him from television. She informed him that many people were against the police arresting the vigilante citizen. Henry countered her assertion, insisting that they could not allow individuals to commit murder without repercussions.
We cannot have vigilantes running around doing their own thing, you know?
Who cares?
Unbeknownst to him, Michael was also in the pub, seated at the bar with a drink in hand. As he surveyed the crowd, he observed 2 men stealthily slipping drugs into their dates' drinks after the women left for the restroom. Calmly, he approached the men and warned them that someone was harassing their dates nearby. Once they left to investigate, Michael swiftly switched the drinks. From a distance, Chief Henry watched intently. Moments later, the men returned and drank from the glasses Michael had altered. Almost immediately, they began to feel dizzy. Michael then approached the women, alerting them to what had transpired and advising them to leave those men behind. The women quickly departed. After Michael walked away, Henry carefully collected one of the glasses used by Michael, hoping to retrieve DNA evidence. The following day, Michael targeted one of the attackers, Yusuf al-Shara. He forced his way into Yusuf's home at gunpoint, taking Yusuf and his family hostage. When Yusuf lunged at him in defiance, Michael shot him in the leg and ordered everyone to sit down under threat of violence. Yusuf's father attempted to defend his son, arguing that the court had already cleared him and that he was merely young and misguided. Yusuf echoed his father's sentiment, claiming that the girl had wanted it. Coldly, Michael reminded them both that they had covered her mouth while taking turns assaulting her, an undeniable truth that hung heavily in the air. Michael's gaze shifted to Yusuf's sister, who had infamously posted online that the victim of the assault deserved what had happened to her due to her choice of clothing. She claimed that the girl's miniskirt had incited the boy's desires, placing the blame squarely on her shoulders. This, Michael asserted, was precisely the issue at hand. He firmly believed that children are molded by the values imparted by their parents. Yusuf's father interjected, insisting that he had instilled values rooted in the Quran within his children.
I teach him the values from Quran and these values from our family.
However, Michael was unyielding. He dismissed the father's excuses outright. With a commanding presence, Michael ordered Yusuf to call his accomplices to the apartment. Initially, Yusuf hesitated, but as Michael began a countdown from 5 while aiming his gun at Yusuf's mother, the gravity of the situation became apparent. Reluctantly, Yusuf's father urged him to make the call. Moments later, 2 of Yusuf's accomplices arrived.
What's wrong?
Hello. Come on. Go. Okay.
Meanwhile, Chief Henry had connected Michael Sanders to the vigilante citizen and swiftly assembled a special intervention unit to apprehend him at his apartment. Unbeknownst to them, Michael was already prepared for their arrival. From within an armored container, he monitored the team's approach through a security camera feed on his phone, biding his time for the raid to commence. When the officers breached the apartment, Michael issued a stark warning for them to retreat. Instead of heeding his warning, they opened fire. In response, Michael retaliated with lethal force, killing everyone in the room before making his escape. Shortly thereafter, Henry and the remaining officers entered the apartment only to be met with a gruesome scene, bodies strewn across the floor. Henry ordered his men to force open the armored container. However, when they accessed the hidden escape hatch inside, a deadly explosive booby trap detonated, resulting in several officers' deaths and injuring Henry himself. While recovering in the hospital, Henry received a chilling call from Michael. The vigilante warned him that the government must be alerted to the growing unrest among citizens regarding what he described as a takeover by radical political and religious extremists. He insisted that if the government failed to act, the people would take matters into their own hands. Determined to address this issue publicly, Henry resolved to speak to the press, especially if the Prime Minister refused to listen. In the weeks that followed, news reports surfaced revealing that 3 judges had died under suspicious circumstances. Initially ruled as suicides, at home, the teenage victim learned of her attacker's demise. Rather than feeling horror, she experienced a sense of quiet satisfaction. Thank you for watching. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps until next time. Have a wonderful day.